frackusa.com. It's FRACK And if they want to go to the site, they can download a free excerpt from the book to read, and also order the book directly through Amazon as a Kindle book.
And what other books have you written?
I just finished a third. My first book was called The 7% Solution, and it was about designing your retirement portfolio so that you can fire me.
Okay. I'll send that to my broker. Okay. And what's your... you shared with me earlier that you have another book coming out the end of this month, and you're going to be back on the show in February. We'll be talking about your new book. What's the name of the new book?
Thank you. The book is called Broken Wing: Birds, Blades, and Broken Promises. It'll be out on January 26th. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. And what's that book about?
About wind energy, wind turbines, and the challenges that they present and the opportunities that I've discovered through my research into other ways of generating wind energy without killing literally hundreds of thousands of birds each year.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll be fascinating, and you'll be back with us in February. Now, tell me truthfully, did you ever think you would be an author?
Actually, I've always wanted to be a writer. Yes, I did.
Well, see, I can ask that question because I wrote my first book when I was 50 years old. So for anyone listening who has a book and loves doing research, it's never too late. What does your family think about your writing career?
Well, that's a good question also. I had a dinner and a glass of wine with my wife about 7 years ago, and I said I would like to have Monday through Thursday between 7 and 10 p.m., and either Saturday or Sunday for 6 hours to do research and write. Is that going to fit into our lifestyle? And she asked me about what I was going to write, and she said, yes, of course. Get out of my hair, please. Go ahead.
Okay, so now I have to ask the big question. How long have you been married?
I've been married to my best friend for 28 lovely years.
Okay. Well, I'm also with my best friend, and we've just celebrated 45 years. And I'll tell you, life's a lot easier if you're hanging out with your best friend.
Yes, ma'am, you're right there.
Okay, so let's get back. It's fun visiting with you. Let's get back to the overview of potential production arenas in our country. Where will this take place?
The most interesting area is in southern Wyoming and central and northern Colorado. It's called the Niobrara. That's for oil. It's very difficult to frack because the ground is so ruptured. If oil comes back to 60 or 70 a barrel, they will open those fields up. The Eagle Ford in Texas has been open for about 5 years, and it's seen a significant increase in production, but at $32 a barrel, they're shutting wells down there pretty quickly, and the same in North Dakota. The interesting game is in Ohio and Pennsylvania, which is truly a source of natural gas for most of the people in New England and the mid-states. That they fracked an area called the Marcellus, which is down about 8,000 feet. Below that, a field at 16,000 feet, which is 4 times the size of the Marcellus. It's called the Utica. And those two fields will provide enough natural gas to this country for at least another 70 or 80 years.
Wow. Now, tell me, how long does it take to drill down 16,000 feet? Forever?
No, that's interesting. When I was in the field working with the guys who roustabouts from the Roughnecks 6 years ago, it would take 30 days.
Oh,
and they would drill one hole. Today, in February of last year, an oil company drilled 10 holes simultaneously, down 16,000 feet, and then out 2 miles horizontally And they did all of that in 17 days.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Amazing. Now, when they do this do they have one drill or do they have 10 drills?
One drill. They drop a hole. It's literally on legs. Or caterpillar tracks. It moves across the berm about 50 feet. Drops down in well there. And it might take them 7 or 8 days to put that hole in. It'll move another 100 feet, and do the same thing. So it's a repetitive process. And the guys who do this can get down a mile in about 3 days.
Oh gosh, that's amazing. So now my next question, obviously, is what's the company that makes the drills, and how do I invest in
There you go. Well, the billionaire Howard Hughes, Sr., was the guy who invented the drill bit that's used today. Yeah,
sure.
So Hughes, that firm was the originator. Now there are more than 1,200 different types of drill bits, depending upon the rock, depending upon the pressure, depending upon the area, depending upon what they're drilling for, etc. So there's a massive variety of choices. And final answer to your question, given the nature of this plummet in oil and gas prices, it's probably wise to keep your powder dry throughout the spring and early summer of this year, is my guess.
Yeah.
You can call your broker in June or July and tell them to start looking for things for you.
Okay. I'm writing all this down. I'm taking notes.
We have a phrase called, you don't want to try to catch a falling knife.
Oh, okay. That's very
Market
good.
is falling.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about the environmental lobby? Are they as powerful as the NRA?
Much more so. Much, much more so. They control the White House. They control most regulatory agencies, including the EPA. They control the state of California and the state of New York. They are extremely powerful people, and they have a point of view. And for better or for worse, it's a battle royale between them and the frackers.
Mm-hmm. Now, how do the frackers feel about the pipeline controversy?
Keystone Pipeline. Well, the funny thing there is Keystone would have been pipeline number 7. There are already 6 pipelines running across the border. They were very simple to set up and get permitted. Why 7 took so long is not for us to talk about here today. That pipeline, as like the others, simply brings Canadian oil down to the Gulf Coast, where it's refined into aviation fuel, diesel, gasoline, kerosene, paraffins, etc. And right now, it's okay that the Keystone isn't working because we have such a surfeit, such a glut of our own, our own crude oil, that the frackers are okay with it. They don't mind. It's the refiners, the end user, the guys who turn crude into gasoline. Those guys are a little concerned.
Okay. This is a fascinating topic, and right now we're going to hear from our fascinating sponsors, and we'll be right back with John Graves.
Are you living the life you always wanted? Is your relationship fulfilling or a constant roller coaster ride? Do you know how to chart your own path? If you are sick of struggling, overwhelmed, stressed, but desire balance, emotional freedom, and a purposeful life, then it's time to try something that really works. Dr. Casey's unique, result-oriented emotional mastery technique will teach you how to be your own therapist while empowering you to be your best. Learn more at drsimoncasey.com. That's drsimoncasey.com. From cowgirl to caregiver to consultant, meet Becky Fiola, author of The Elder Care Consultant, your guide to making the best choices possible. Growing up on remote ranches across the western states, she tended to orphan creatures large and small. Later on, that nurturing instinct served her well as the primary caregiver for her late husband, and now she offers hope and guidance as a consultant to the elderly and their families. When you need advice on caring for an aging loved one, you can find those answers and her book at Amazon.com and her website www.assistedlivingadvantage.com. Do you want to learn how to live into your dreams? One Door Closes, Overcoming Adversity by Following Your Dreams. The new book by Tom Ingracia and Jared Kredemski captures the thought-provoking stories of 16 people from all walks of life who have triumphed over adversity to achieve their goals. Plus, you'll get 10 self-assessment tools to design your own blueprint for success. Unlock your true potential. Fulfill your dreams. Be inspired. One Door Closes is available from Amazon.com.
January Jones wants you to grow your business fast, getting free PR, doing interviews with podcasters and internet radio shows. Grab your free copy of our audio how-to course called How to Build Your Business, get more email subscribers, and make more money free doing podcast and internet talk radio interviews. Grab your copy right now at realfasttalkradio.com. Again, that website is realfasttalkradio.com.
Welcome back to Real Fast Success Stories with January Jones and my guest, John Graves. We're having a fascinating interview about fracking, which is a word, quite frankly, I had never heard of before, but I'm fascinated by it. John, let's go to Chapter 8, and that's where your alter ego, Dr. Jekyll, makes some interesting points. Could you just give us a summary of Chapter 8?
Remind me, because I don't have the book in front of me. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, this is that as a financial advisor, your interest in this world arose upon seeing the income possibilities for retired clients.
So when you invest in energy, as we said earlier, we're looking for dividends because we want to live off our dividends when we retire. And energy companies, whether they're big companies such as Exxon or Shell or Oxy or Apache, they pay pretty nice dividends, 5 or 6%. The smaller independent firms pay dividends that might be 8 to 14%. Okay. And those smaller companies are typically in the format of what's called an MLP, a Master Limited Partnership. A type of stock. And again, you speak to your broker, and he'll immediately be able to pull up a list of not only individual companies themselves, of which there are about 130, but also ETFs, ETNs, and mutual funds that invest in those companies. Okay. For many people, the ETF or the mutual fund choice is the easier approach to the question of how to buy in good dividend-paying stocks.
Okay, and now if our listeners buy your book and they go to Chapter 18, will you give them the names of these companies?
No, I don't do that, January, because I wear two hats. I have two professions. One is a financial advisor, and one is a business.
Yeah.
And if I were to put in names of companies into the book, then I would have to have the book approved by regulators. And
okay.
I choose to be a Jekyll and Hyde, be a totally different person. So I will describe it in general, but I will urge each person to go to the websites that are in the book and use those websites to do their own research.
Okay, and or else talk to their financial advisors. And in Chapter 10, you give an overview of the challenges, risk, environmental concerns, and politics associated with fracking. Now, this basically is the meat of the matter. Controversy meets confusion. And then you end that with saying, hold on to your assets. What is that all about? I'm all ready to invest, and now I have to hold on to my assets.
Unfortunately, politics and belief systems enter into the energy equation. And by belief systems, what I mean is the story of climate change, of global warming, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And my essential position is that that's a bunch of hooey, that the climate has changed for several tens of millions of years, and the few of us